Hello, everyone. My name is Malinok, and welcome to day one of playing Unfair Flips every day, all in a row, for as many days as I can. Let's get started with the second flip of this run because I couldn't help myself. I just had to flip. I had to, even before I started the recording. I just can't stop. But why? Why in God's name would anyone, especially me, do something like this? Well, one, I feel like it. Two, I would like to join the ranks of people like Circle Master, someone who spent hundreds of hours in the first area of Final Fantasy VII to get to level 99 on both of the game's party members that you have at that specific time. And the guy who spent hundreds of hours speedrunning the King Boo level in Super Mario Sunshine. I'm sorry that I can't remember his name. Specifically, the King Boo level, which, funnily enough, is also about gambling. The purpose is to show the determination of man and why the grind is such an important part of life. I must indulge in such things more often because I am someone who is not used to putting a lot of effort all into one endeavor. And it's a very deep flaw in my character that I must address. This is one of the many ways that I will do so. Flipping a coin for all eternity. Speaking of which, I should probably explain how the game works just in case someone comes across this and doesn't know what this game's about. Or rather, doesn't know the mechanics of the game. You flip a coin with the goal of landing heads 10 times in a row. Oh my god. We got 4 in a row and a 30% chance. Every time you get heads, every time you land heads, you get a little bit of money that you can use to upgrade an aspect of your coin flipping endeavors. Whether it's increased odds, decreased time taking to flip, increased combo potential for multiple heads in a row, or the base worth of the coin, which I think I'm going to go for right here, since we've hit quite the stroke of luck. Now, as you saw earlier, this is not my first run of the game. Very nice. I have gotten one of the endings already, but only one of them. And the point isn't really for this to end. I must be prepared for whatever life may throw at me in the future. This is my Sisyphean journey to do so. Thankfully, I'm not alone in this. No, I'm not talking about you watching the video, of course. I'm talking about the other guy in the bar with me. He will accompany me on my journey and look at me whenever I finally get that coveted 10 in a row, instead of 6 tails in a row when it's a 35% chance to get heads. You might notice that I don't have to use my mouse to flip the coin. You can press the spacebar instead. It's a very nice feature, especially for speedrunners, since they can keep their mouse hovered over whichever next upgrade they want. And I believe this is the next one that I want, because it is only $1, and it will help us obtain more dollars in the future. And speaking of what's around us, this bar certainly is an interesting place. We have a giant tub of water labeled simply as water. We have that. We have soda bottles with a paper folded thingamabobber that is oddly labeled soda instead of just having a sign above it, or even just some text right here saying soda. We have chairs that look like stick figures if you look at them the right way. I certainly thought they were people at first. I should point out that this is not being posted on my main channel. I have 2 now. Well, I've had 2 for a while, but I haven't gotten much use out of this second one until I came up with this brilliant idea for something that I'm going to spend a significant amount of my life on. And I truly am committed to this, I promise you. That is another aspect of my life I must improve. Keeping my promises has been difficult. But anyway, my main channel will have much more highly edited videos. These ones will likely be very minimally edited in order to actually fulfill the daily promise, while also being able to put more work into other things. On my main channel, you will find highly edited gameplay videos where I try to tell the story of those games and my experience with them in my own unique way, using memes and such, well, not custom background music, but all kinds of different background music from over the internet. Hopefully I can dodge copyright enough. The US copyright laws are very poorly designed, as I have come to learn. It isn't even just YouTube that has problems with such things. I should also note that what you are currently listening to my vernacular, my tone of voice, the way I'm speaking, it is not typical for my videos on the other channel. While I'm not exactly I apologize, my recording has been incorrectly cropped this whole time. Anyway, as I was saying, we have gotten 6 tails in a row once again. But also, my main channel has much snappier, faster paced editing. There are slow moments to accommodate for video game storylines and such. However, I am not nearly as quiet there as I am here. I am rather inconsistent in how hyper I can be. Perhaps, well, not perhaps, you will absolutely see more of that as we continue to flip this coin over and over again and get 7 tails in a row. I will try to speak throughout the majority of our time here. That is because through this process, I want to become more talkative as well. I know that sounds odd since I'm essentially talking to myself. However, I believe this will be a decent stepping stone to becoming more outwardly talkative. And if I could get just one heads. Oh my god. Okay. There we go. Anyway. This person, I'm not sure why they're wearing a bear mask. Increase combo effectiveness. I'm not sure why they're wearing a bear mask. However, because of how much my brain has been rotted by hyperfixation on certain game franchises, I can't help but think of, you know, that particular bear. It is a mask, after all. And yet, despite the mask, he seems to be drinking through it. How acidic is the fluid in that cup to be passing through the mask, but not damaging his insides? Well, perhaps it's damaging his insides, but not killing his insides. After all, he'll continue to drink throughout all of the hundreds of hours we spend here. Again, I am committing to this for 1 hour each day. Maybe not 1 hour. I'll think about how much time I want to spend here each day. Well, then again, 1 hour to just reflect on the day, think about what can be improved, what mistakes I made, what I can do differently. My ADHD is certainly helped by just rhythmically pressing a button and listening to the nice guitar twangs. Speaking of the sound design, I certainly did a good job making these coin flips satisfying. Just take a listen for a moment before I get back to speaking. How many different clinking noises did they create for hitting tails? For such a seemingly simple game, so much effort was put in. Animating different flipping speeds for the coins, and I don't just mean the amount of time it spends in the air, I mean you can see sometimes it flips faster or slower. They could have just put a bit of text right here that shows up jarringly and then disappears, but they took the effort of having it slide upwards and slowly fading out. They could have done the same for this wall of text here, but instead it slides in and trails upwards like the credits. It won't be too long now before we can get our next upgrade with $100. And I believe our best bet is the base coin worth. We will go from a mere quarter to... Wait, do we go from a quarter to a dollar coin? I mean, I think so, but that just feels strange. Yeah, we're at a dollar coin. Okay, hold on. How many tails can we get in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah, damn. On my first run that I did off screen, I got 11 tails in a row at one point. I wasn't exactly happy about that in the moment, but in that short time, my perspective on this grind has changed. I must take things slow and appreciate everything around me while keeping my ADHD at bay by pressing a button over and over and over and over and over and over and over. What was I talking about? Right. We have the option to turn off the volume. If I really do need to just think without listening at all, I can do that at any time. Another very helpful feature. I know that's supposed to be probably an earplug, but the first thing I thought of was a saw blade, of all things. They also didn't have to put a sound muted and sound enabled in the text here, but they did. They didn't have to animate this man in the background drinking, but they did. They didn't have to put anything in the background. They could have just made it a completely black background, and the actual gameplay would be entirely identical. Hold on. 6. 8. This is it. Our first 9 combo. Will this bring us to our first ending? It does. That's incredible. Flip the coin to high ending, or simply the question mark ending. Only 639 flips compared to, and I even screenshotted this, compared to the, if I could not fumble with my keyboard controls, if I could find my screenshot that I just took mere moments ago. 3,756 total flips is what it took, and I had to get every single upgrade available beforehand. Truly, we are off to an incredible start. But it's not over yet. Perhaps the later entries in this series will be an hour long, but I think this first one being 30 minutes would be nice. Once you get an ending, you are no longer able to flip. You must click exit, and only then can you get back to it. Two tails, three tails, one heads. So, what else about the actual game haven't we mentioned yet? I suppose the in-game dialogue would be nice. Welcome to Unfair Flips, a game about probability. Even in just those 2 lines, so much is said. Everything the game is and always will be is explained. It is a game about probability. Simple, calculable odds. We have a 25% chance of this next one being heads. A 1 in 4 chance of this next flip being heads. But a 75% chance of this next one being tails. And a 3 in 4 chance of this next one being tails. To win the game, get 10 heads in a row. It's that simple. Just keep flipping. It could happen immediately, or it could happen never. Who's to say for certain? The term deconstruction has gone through the ringer thanks to Hollywood's modern artworks. However, what it truly means is to take things apart and examine their individual pieces. In this case, the concept of gambling. The faces represent how you feel. I know that sounds elementary, but it really was a genius artistic move to, rather than just having a regular coin with a face on one side and the other icon on the other side is a smile a, and a frown, and a frown. Um, a frown. Yes, the frown. This is the entire game, indeed, and this is all we will be doing for the entire game. The text, even outside of the dialogue, is rather clever. The Tails is desaturated, or the opacity is decreased slightly when compared to Heads. The first Heads, no exclamation. The second, an exclamation. Third, 2 exclamations. The fourth, no exclamations, because it's just Tails, with an ellipses, representing the disappointment one feels in losing that wonderful combo. However, in the hour since the last run, and the hour during that run, or no, the first run, not the last one, the first run, I have changed my perspective from this game being frustrating and idiotic to a true masterpiece of art. And it truly is. I really do believe that. Which is why I am going to spend a long, long time here. And I'm not joking when I say that I believe it will improve my life. More so because of how I will use it. Nicely timed. More so because of how I will use this. How I will make it impact me. Even in just this first attempt, I have been able to speak for the majority of the time I've been recording. Not something I can say for example, The Binding of Isaac, which I will do videos on the main channel for. I admire Lazy Matman's commitment to create a Binding of Isaac video nearly every day. Is it truly every day? Perhaps he's been keeping that streak for a while now, and I just haven't noticed. I should look after I'm done with this, which is going to be very soon. We only have 30 seconds. I hope that you've enjoyed this first endeavor of many, many more to come. But it is 1:22 a.m. on a school night. Oops. So, I should probably bid you adieu. And before that, one last flip. Nice.